Jack. All right. You got this stuff?
Yeah. All cleaned in oil.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's get it on.
Who are these guys?
It's my theme music. Every good hero should have some.
Hot damn, it's time to get down to the jam. It's time to get down, it's time to get down, it's time to get down to the jam. I said it's time to get down to the knowledge, gonna get on down with the know. On the morning coffee show, on morning coffee with Keith, here on Pop Culture Minefield.
Excuse me, can I get a cup of coffee? Black?
Can't you see we talking?
White?
Good morning, everybody. Hopefully, everybody's having a good morning so far.
Hey, it's morning. It's too damn early in the day.
That from the resident night owl, not unlike our birthday boy today. Martin, how are you, buddy?
I am. That's good enough.
Yeah, morning. It's start off with good morning. Just morning. Let's not put too much pressure on the day. That's my constant refrain.
Let me just jump right in. I think the big question is, why did I pick today's topic? Well, I'll tell you.
Because
today, today, according to the official DC Comics calendar, 1976. Today is Bruce Wayne's birthday. Now, let me just help everybody understand what we're actually celebrating here. We are not celebrating the debut of Batman. That's a different thing. You know, that's celebrating the entire history of the character, how long the character's been around, blah, 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 blah. No, this is the actual birthday of the character of Bruce Wayne. So that's what we're celebrating.
That is in case anybody in the audience had any inkling and any doubt that we were geeks. There you have it.
Right.
So,
so I've got my Batman fit on today.
oh my goodness!
Wow! Look at you. I was just wearing my Batman blue shirt, you know, but you just got to go with the nice Batman shirt that all the normies bought into in '89, which again is still one of the all-time best marketing jobs ever for any movie. Was the Batman '89 campaign. So, and hello to everybody. Andy, hello to Gambit, hello to Country Shape Media. Oh, what's Gambit saying? 1939, Bob Kane. Yeah, about that.
Oh, you don't know what you have started here, Gambit.
Well, I mean, it's the thing about it is it's kind of funny, but it's also really sad. You know, for those that have actually watched the documentary, you know that Bob Kane was not a good guy. You know, I'm sure his family liked him and stuff like that, but he did some truly underhanded stuff. And in many ways, you could say that if you do believe in the afterlife, there's a good chance that Mr. Kane's not going to wind up where where he thought he would end up. Let's put it that way. Because what he did was wrong. There's no way to spin it. What he did was wrong.
So the truth is, Bob Kane really is the first Batman villain.
The first what?
If we're going to start talking about villains within comics, as far as real people that have done some bad stuff, I'd say he's joining a really illustrious group of people, but he was not the first. The person who actually taught him how to do what he did has a major comic book award named after him. And even after people found out what this dude had done, his name has not been removed from this award. Bob Kane only did it to one person. This guy has done it to multiple people. You could say that Bob Kane is his acolyte. You know?
Or that the other guy is his Russell Gould.
Something like that. It's more like, you could put it like Bob Kane is kind of like his... it's kind of like Bob Kane is more of a disciple of what this guy had taught and how to survive in the business. And the comic book business is filled with a lot of people that have done a lot of very underhanded things and continue to do that. Good morning. The lovely Anima, everybody. Let's give her a hand. But the thing is that if you really wanted to be fair, while it took them years to finally give proper credit to Bill Finger, if you understood exactly how the character was created, the actual description should read Batman, created by Bill Finger, based on an original concept and idea by Bob Kane. There you go.
Because didn't Bill Finger create not only Batman, but like a lot of the first Rogues Gallery?
He created a lot of the basic concepts that we know as Batman. For instance, this look of the character that you see in the background here, that's all Bill Finger. All of it.
Right.
Because if Bill Finger had not have helped Bob Kane, the character will look completely different. And I do mean completely. There is no ambiguity that Bob Kane's version of Batman, the way he originally sketched it out for Bill Finger, is a completely different character. For one thing, blonde hair, Robin mask, red suit with no gloves.
Right.
And black bat-type wings that I don't know what they were for. I mean, to help it fly or something. I don't know.
Well, the guy was going to lurk in the night dressed in red.
Well, I think Bob Kane's idea was to have him just at any time. Batman was just a name. And Bill Finger went ahead and said, okay, if we're going to do this, we need to break this thing down. So he literally took his idea and just addressed every single thing from head to toe. You know, it's like, okay, first of all, this mask doesn't cover enough of his face.
So Martin, in our site, in our Facebook chat, I just put an image of the original version of Batman.
Yeah.
If you want to throw that in there.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's Bob. That legally, that is Bob Kane's idea.
Okay, I know the saying that hindsight is 20/20, but oh my God, that was
and so Bill Finger was the one that said, "Look, this is the kind of guy that if we're going to make him kind of like a mixture of our own version of Zorro, the Shadow, and a few other things, he's definitely going to need to be in the shadows." And wearing that's not going to cut it. So
Right.
we need to cover his face. We need to make sure he's wearing dark colors. So instead of red, we'll go with gray and blue. And initially he needed gloves, so he's not leaving fingerprints anyplace.
Mm-hmm.
So they gave him initially he got the purple gloves, and then Bill Finger came up with the Batcave, the utility belt, Wayne Manor.
Okay, people, I'm gonna show the image. Get ready. This is shocking.
Brace yourselves.
For those who have never seen this,
you have been warned. Here we go. Oh my God! It's like the worst element from Batman and Robin combined into one character.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh,
And Robin wasn't even a thought. There was no thought of Robin at all. Robin was never thought about. This was what happened. If I may jump back a little bit, is that the creators of Superman
Mm-hmm.
got cut a really nice check, and Superman was making money hand over fist. This is 1938.
So it's like $50.
Might as well have been. And they look, National Comics was making a lot of money. I mean, Superman was huge. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they thought, well, we need another character. We can't just have just Superman. We need another character that can, sell a lot of comic books too. So they were willing, they put the word out, they were willing to pay big money. Bob Kane, who just recently left his mentor's office and had gotten a job, had decided to solicit to National Comics and said, look, I can do that. I can give you a character that you guys can do all that on. So, and that was like, I think it was a Thursday when he said it. And they said, look, we'll give you the entire weekend. Monday, you got to give us a complete character that we can, So he spent all of Friday, I think it was, trying to create something and couldn't do it. And he happened to meet up with Bill Finger, who you have to understand there is also an age difference between the two. Okay. This is about like when I think Bob Kane was about 25. Bill Finger, who had been around a few years within the realm of comics, I think was in his late 30s. And he spent his week in helping out Bob Kane. He said, let me take a look at it. Let me see if I can do something for you. And he sat down and just pretty much from the ground up reinvented the character. And there's a documentary about Bill Finger that was very effective in filling in a lot of things. And again, let me just say, Bob Kane, come that Monday, DC liked what they saw. Bob Kane basically understood how everything worked because his mentor had taught him how everything worked. So he knew he was initially going to get screwed anyway. There was no way he was going to win this and make himself rich or anything. But he knew enough of how valuable it was to be seen as a very creative person within the business. So he made a deal with DC that he would be given sole credit for not only creating the character, but sole credit as to be the only person that was responsible for basically the entire thing for years. They wouldn't credit anyone else at all. And for a few years there, he got it. That was a part of his contract with DC Comics.
Mm-hmm.
So up until about what now? This is like 7 or 8 years ago, 9 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Up until then, Bob Kane got sole credit for Batman. And when someone had asked him about it, when the thing about Bill Finger came up in his biography, in Bob Kane's biography, he kind of alluded to it for about a paragraph. And I'm trying not to be too cruel with this, but that paragraph basically was something along the lines of, Bill Finger and I met and we worked a little bit together and he had some ideas.
That's it.
And that's it. Now,
He was a contributing factor.
he did participate along with everyone else that was a part of my group. And
Right.
anyway, so now here's the part where I say why I think Bob Kane was a bad guy. Not just what we've learned up to now, but I for me, it gets a little worse personally. So Bill Finger was not one of those guys that seemingly was good with confrontation. Okay. And so when Batman became a hit, I think Bill was good with it. You know, it was like, hey, here's something that I worked on. It's a big hit, blah, 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 blah. Right? So Bob Kane's getting all of the attention, all of the love. And years later, this is the really bad part. Years later, when the Batman TV series, Bob Kane, along with all of these people who had been hired to work with Bob to bring Batman comics to life for the last 20 years, including Bill Finger, had an opportunity to work on the show. Bill Finger worked on a couple episodes of the TV show. During the height of all of its popularity, Bob Kane was making a lot of money hand over fist. And Bill Finger, well, he was gracious enough to allow Bill Finger the opportunity to work on the show, which he did. Bill Finger passed away in 1974 after attending a convention. In fact, he passed away near destitute, no wife, no family. He had been married. He'd been married before. Wife divorced him. And when he died, they didn't even discover his body for a couple days. This is 1974. So, if I understand the story right, he either knew he had a son or he didn't know he had a son. But basically, he never really talked too much about his work. His wife didn't remember a lot of the details of what her husband did. So basically, his wife and son had no idea what he had done.
Yeah.
And it took a young man who decided to really dig into this and created this documentary and the book that went with it to track down the son. And it turns out that he had died several years before. And didn't know that he had a daughter with this other woman. So this guy tracked down the daughter and basically showed up on her doorstep to talk to her about her grandfather, who she never met. Ever. And basically just laid it on her. Your grandfather co-created Batman. And just think about all of that being laid on you.
Right.
You know, she does conventions now. She does a lot of conventions. I've yet to catch up to her myself, but I like many others, just want to meet her and shake her hand and let her know how much her grandfather's, in my opinion, creation has really been a favorite of mine in reading comics. And that's, you know, it's important to hear that for anyone who's had a family member who's created something that a lot of people really enjoy. It's good to at least say that. It's good to at least meet them, shake their hands, say, I want to just, you know, tell you how much this means to me. And trust me, there's been a lot of people that have done that. And I think it affects how you see things. But again, I think that documentary is on Hulu if you want to just watch the whole thing. But Bob Kane's put out his biography. He barely, if at all, really mentions anything about Bill Finger. And Batman's not the only character that Bill Finger actually created. That's the other thing. Like I said, Bill Finger was not about confrontation. So there's a lot of stuff that he has his name attached to that you really need to see. When you Google Bill Finger and see all of the stuff that he did, he should be getting a hell of a lot more credit than he does.
Yeah.
Because a lot of his characters are still around. They're still relevant. And the big one being the Green Lantern.
Yeah. It's like Green Lantern was his big one.
Yeah.
His other big one.
His other big one. Well, and ironically, in creating that character, and that character was 1940. So what, 1939 Batman, 1940 the Green Lantern. And this is the original Green Lantern, Alan Scott, the blonde, who ironically kind of sort of, if you put that picture back up of what Bob Kane drew for Batman, that kind of looks like that character minus the mask. I mean, if you know what the original Green Lantern looks like, he has kind of a red costume with the Green Lantern on his chest there, and he's blonde, and it's like kind of sort of like Bill Finger's like, hey, it's not a total loss with this drawing here. I'll just repurpose it.
Yeah, it's just, we could work with this. I'm gonna put that where it can be seen if it still needs to be seen.
So, again, people have been mistreating him and his work for a long time. I mean, and again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's when you get the opportunity to work with a character that has been around for decades, it is not your job to act like you're the creator. You're a custodian, not the creator. Okay? You want to start making some changes to characters. You got to understand that you can't really sit there and just say, well, you know, this is what the creator always wanted to do. You can't say that. You can say that this is my idea for what I'd like to do with the character. But DC Comics, in many respects, has mistreated Bill Finger for a long time. And the ultimate is to take the character of Alan Scott and just one day decide, well, we're just going to make him gay. Not to go with all the gay characters that they had created. They just decided to make this character gay. And I've always said, you know, it's sad that DC can't spend its time with the gay characters that they had created, that if they weren't either aware of, or if audiences weren't aware of, or they didn't like how those characters were written, that they couldn't go out and just write those characters better. But when you have to change characters that have been around for decades, that's not cool, you know? I mean, I know for some people hearing that, it's like, oh, it's not that big a deal. It's a big deal if your relative created a character to be one way and to work a particular way, and somebody comes along and decides to fundamentally change that character. Now, Julius Schwartz could have done that when he joined DC Comics. He didn't. What he did was he took the concept of the Green Lantern and changed it. Rather than changing what Bill Finger had co-created, he created a whole new mythology to go with the character. And instead of being kind of like a pseudo mystical hero, which is how I think Bill Finger had originally conceived Green Lantern, the ring was meant to almost be kind of magical. So, kind of like its own green flame. And there was no space cop aspect. All that was invented by Julius Schwartz, who was a former science fiction agent and publisher who DC Comics hired in the 1950s, and who basically came in and gave DC the mandate to be more science fiction than it ever had before. And as I said last week, that's really the biggest difference between DC and Marvel. DC skews more towards science fiction. Marvel skews it's science fiction and it's science fiction and godlike characters versus horror and fantasy, which is what Marvel skews as, because that's what Stan Lee admitted. Stan Lee was a big horror fan, and all of his characters, starting in the 1960s, really when he was able to control Marvel and was putting out all of the stuff based on his own views of how to do characters, all of it has a horror basis. You know, you could look at a movie. You could look at a movie like I Was a Teenage Werewolf, and instead of making the lead character a werewolf, you could make him like a guy who wakes up and is a human type spider. But instead of making him look like a spider, he just had spider powers. That's where the idea of Spider-Man comes from. You know, in the 1950s, those were the kinds of movies that were being made. You know, the atomic monster type movies, the kind of pseudo horror type stuff. Iron Man is a kind of it also is a horror element to it, in so much as that the device that saves Tony's life, unlike in the more recent movies with Robert Downey Jr., is not something that slips into his chest, but was actually a full-size breastplate that he wore constantly. So he's actually wearing metal that he had to wear, kind of like a very mobile version. Yeah, iron lung. It was like a portable iron lung. Hulk is obvious, you know. That's a Jekyll and Hyde type thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, and he was originally gray, but
yeah,
you know, it's like,
yeah.
What if we make it bright green? and the rest is, and we've created a monster now.
Well, and but also the Fantastic Four. which is any movie that your lead character is a scientist who figures it all out and tries to save or get people to understand, hey, there's this horrible thing. We've all seen the movies. You know, usually your lead character, your hero, is a scientist who's figured it out, and his girlfriend, who's mainly there just to scream a lot. And you add in a little bit of body horror with his best friend turning into a rock and his girlfriend's brother being able to
Burst into flame.
Assume the modern day mantle of an idea and character that Stan Lee didn't create. Oh, wait a minute. Did I let that slip? But that's true. The Human Torch is actually a repurposed character from earlier in Marvel's run. Anyway, that's what you have. And Bill Finger, to me, is just one of many who have wound up getting the extreme short end of the stick when it comes to comics and what you are actually owed. You know, if things were truly fair, there wouldn't have had to have been any doubt that Bill Finger deserved to be at least and Bill Finger rather than Batman created by Bob Kane in association with Bill Finger. That's all BS. That is corporate BS. And it's only because they can't get past the original contract that had been established. That contract is still there, ironclad. And Bob Kane's family, I'm telling you, they're not just sitting off to the side. I mean, you know, they've made some money. Now, I think his granddaughter's name is Athena Finger.
Mm-hmm. Athena
And
Finger, yeah.
I don't know how much she's gotten. I know she's gotten a little bit. But I do mean compared to Kane's estate, she's gotten a little bit. And things aren't going to get any easier. If Netflix ends up getting Warner Brothers, I think they're going to find new and improved ways of basically screwing everybody. And that's also going to be bad news for DC Comics. As one person who has said on YouTube with their own YouTube show has said, Netflix, they're more of a tech company. They're not into publishing. And even though they've had things published before, they've had deals where they've done comics before, none of that ever really stuck. None of it. And they have no incentive to truly continue on with DC Comics as a publisher. They've got no incentive at all. But they will have control of the IP. And that will allow them to do basically whatever the blank they want. So for all of you who like to complain that Warner Brothers never really did anything right, you are about to see how bad things can get. Because what Netflix has proved is that they'll do just about anything. With varying degrees of success. And they don't, I don't want to say they don't care. It's just that if you've not been a fan of the way DC Comics has been run these last few years, and by last few I mean the last 15 to 20 years, you're basically looking at a company like Netflix that's going to give it, it's going to be 3 times as bad when they get a hold of it.
Right. So
all the stuff that you've hated in recent years about DC Comics is about to be amplified. So good luck. But as someone who grew up as a Batman and a Superman and a Green Lantern fan. This is not easy to hear. It's also the biggest reason why I am more of a fan. I'm really in favor of Paramount getting Warner Brothers, because I believe that Paramount will at least preserve who these characters are. Now, also, let me at least put this out here. I am not naive in thinking that, oh, Paramount's just going to make everything fair. They're going to cut everybody checks. They're not. They're not. But if I had to basically pick between Netflix and Paramount as to who was going to treat these characters and stories better, I'll go with Paramount all day, every day. Because Netflix they have not shown any real consistency when it comes to quality. I think we can at least agree on that. It's fair to say that Netflix, as far as their original stuff that they have created themselves, varies wildly in quality. They could put out one original thing and then 3 or 4 more come out that they put out and it not be as good. And so they've not really locked it down how to be consistent quality-wise. And even when they do find something that's quality, they find a way of making sequels not as good as the originals. And they've done it more than once. I challenge anyone who is like, everybody's got Netflix. You've had Netflix. Check it out for yourself. Let's see. Gambit. Batman and Robin teamed up with Batgirl in the 1950s. Yes. Batgirl, who was the sidekick to Batwoman in the 1950s. And then, for some reason, Batgirl disappeared. She and her green, red, and yellow costume with a matching purse, because Batwoman and Batgirl didn't have utility belts. They had purses that they had everything inside. I know, right?
It's the utility purse.
So
because that was the 50s, you know.
It was the 50s.
Girls couldn't do the things the boys could, you know.
And then
you notice even in the 70s, in the Wonder Woman TV show, Wonder Woman never punched anybody. She just threw people around.
That's right. Well, but you also have to understand, if you go with the whole goddess thing, punching somebody may not have worked out
Yeah.
well.
And of course I'm sitting here wondering, you know, like, who would be at Bruce Wayne's birthday party? Just you know,
Bruce Wayne's birthday party, he would probably, okay, let's just be honest. It would be whoever Alfred invited.
Yeah, but you know, Alfred would be going, who shall I put on the guest list, sir? You know,
I don't think Bruce Wayne's that deep about it. Remember, it's kind of an act.
Yeah.
I don't think he spends his time even thinking about who the latest whatever is, who the latest celebrity is. I mean, if you look at celebrities nowadays, I don't think Bruce Wayne would be up on any of that stuff.
No, I don't think there'd be any celebrities there. It would be like Jim Gordon, you know, Ollie Queen. You know, people.
Well, I mean,
you know, and the paparazzi showing up, going, "Who are these guys?"
I think it would be a mixture between that, but also what we've seen presented in the films.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which is you gotta act the part.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta play it up, and occasionally you're gonna have to. You know, Bruce Wayne is the most eligible bachelor.
Right.
He's managed to make it into his 30s and not be corralled into anything.
Let's put it this way. I mean, to be frank about it, he's managed to make it to his 30s and stay there for 80 years.
So
no one questions that.
And how is that different for Batman and Robin, the X-Men? How is that different for
anybody?
Iron Man? How is that different for
Clark
Kent? I mean, we all can understand it, at least for Captain America.
Yeah. So there'd be a difference between who's at Bruce Wayne's birthday party and who's at Batman's birthday party.
True. Well, Batman wouldn't have a birthday party. That's the thing. Batman would not have a birthday party.
No, he would throw a birthday party. You know that Clark or Ollie or somebody with a sense of humor would try to throw him a surprise party, and he would figure it out and spend an entire issue doing everything he could to avoid it.
Well, that and the fact that it wouldn't happen in the cave. They do it on the satellite.
They do it on the satellite. Exactly.
Because they know...
They are so lousy friends that they do not know his friend. The best party for Batman is, let's do a safari hunting criminals.
No, Batman would not go for that.
I'm not saying terminating them. Just
no. I don't even think he'd even go for that, even as play. Here's the thing: Batman is exceedingly protective of Gotham City.
Right.
That's his domain. He doesn't like it because he doesn't like it when other people get involved because they don't understand the circumstances. And that is actually played out in a couple of the cartoons that they used to do back when the Warner Brothers cartoons that they would make. The direct-to-home video stuff was really good early on. They had a Justice League animated cartoon about how they got together, and there's a scene where Green Lantern goes to Gotham City, and it's Batman chasing some bad guys. And Green Lantern just decides, well, he's going to, Batman tries to tell him, I don't need you here. I don't want you here. Green Lantern decides, I'll do you a favor. And he captures the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he stops the van. He's got all the bad guys. And Batman's like, okay. So now who's their supplier? Who are they working for?
Right.
He's got all these. It's like I was letting them lead me to where their base is.
Right. Yes.
You've got to know.
Don't fight crime the way you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a magic ring, okay? I don't have superpowers. I got to really figure this stuff out.
Right.
And usually when I'm on a case, there's probably lives at stake.
Yeah.
So I can't just
and it's not like he couldn't just swoop in and beat the crap out of them.
Yes.
But I think that'd be, of course, that would be a hilarious issue. Batman goes out to fight crime, and there's no crime in Gotham.
It would be a hilarious issue. It would be. Because
like the Flash and Superman have showed up and just like everything that could happen, they're responding to before Batman can get there, and he's like, "What the hell's going on?" We decided to give you the one thing that we can't give Bruce Wayne a night off.
Yes, it is. Night. There have been some stuff written and done for comics, but for me, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there are those people who do not appreciate how they've made changes in his life that allowed him to have all of these apprentices. My whole thing is this. I don't care who you are. There is only a limited amount of time that you can just do stuff by yourself. Eventually, you do need help. And having Dick Grayson first, aka the most well-adjusted of all of his kids,
right? In spite of his best efforts,
true. It is just it has been interesting to watch all of these relationships come about. Again, Dick Grayson's probably my favorite of his kids, and I think I think Superman would agree he's probably the best.
Well, I mean, even Superman's going, Dick Grayson's a better leader.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can definitely tell he's learned everything and even put his own spin on a few things that Bruce taught him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not to say that all the rest of Bruce's kids aren't good. It's just that Richard was really the first.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the one that helped to make it possible for Bruce to think about bringing in anyone else. Had it not worked out with him, I don't think he would have had any more partners.
Mm-hmm.
I think Richard needed somewhere to go, and he needed someone to look after him. And Bruce just really needed a partner. He needed someone who could be there to kind of sort of watch his back, because you can't have eyes in the back of your head all the time. You can't be aware of everything. And in the comics, when Robin is introduced, people seem to forget how dangerous Robin was. Robin was not a stupid kid. When Robin was first introduced into the comics, he was very sharp. In fact, he figured certain things out even before Batman did. And over the years, especially after the Congress got involved in helping to put regulations for comics, once Congress got involved, Dick Grayson became more of a caricature. You know, his abilities kind of softened a bit. And so by the 1950s, those comics are really the blueprint for the Batman television series of the 1960s. Everything that they did on that television series comes out of the Batman comics of the 1950s. Because by the 1960s, they had discovered that Robin was kind of smart, and he's growing up, and he's a teenager, and they start getting into issues comics. They start doing stuff along the lines of a lot of the social issues that were going on in the United States at that time. The comics were exceedingly different by the beginning of the 1960s. So when the television series dropped in 1966, Batman comics at that point were getting involved in a lot of social issues. The criminals that he was facing, a lot of those bad guys that they had in the comics from the 1940s and 50s, some of them have been retired. They stopped using them in the comics. When the television series hit, it really was like that relative that you have when you go to Thanksgiving or Christmas who hadn't seen you in years and who still thinks of you back when you were like 9 or 10 years old and you're 15 or 16. That's the big difference between the television series and the comics, and why the TV series almost led to the cancellation of the comic book. I mean, they were going to put Batman on ice. The TV series was very popular with the normies. It was very popular with people who did not read Batman comics. And so everybody expected when they picked up the comics to basically see what they saw on TV. And when they did, they saw something completely different. They read stories that were completely different. More mature. You know, you were not getting slapstick comedy, you know. If you were expecting to see something on the level of, say, Andy Griffith, and what you got when you picked up the comic was something along the lines of Breaking Bad. that's how distinct the comics were versus the television series. And it nearly killed the comic. DC was on the road to wrapping up Batman. So when the show ended when the television series ended in 1969, Denny O'Neil, he of Missouri fame, Missouri writer, who had been with DC for just a few years because he had transferred in from Marvel, fresh off of basically being Stan Lee's assistant for a few years, was wanting to prove himself and got the assignment to basically write for Batman. And if he could turn the book around, they'll keep the character. If not, the character gets shut down. And that's the reason why Denny O'Neil is the man. He saved Batman, literally. DC was going to basically just not get rid of the character, but they're going to shut that character down because the comic book sales were so bad. I mean, they were bad. And because of the work that he did with the stories and characters that he put together, it saved Batman. But it also went a different direction than what other people were thinking. Denny O'Neil said in interviews that basically what he did was he decided to take Batman and sort of combine Bruce Wayne, in a sense, with James Bond. And give Batman a purpose outside of just Gotham, to take his war on crime internationally. And so 1970, you saw a brand new James Bond. That's when Roger Moore became James Bond. So a lot of the ways that you would see Roger Moore handle things is how Denny O'Neil allowed Bruce Wayne to handle things. Except that Bruce Wayne could actually afford to do it on his own. He had all his own resources. He had his own planes. He could come up with his own gadgets. And this allowed him to travel to more exotic places, which means more exotic women, more exotic locales. It meant also coming up with some brand new characters. I think Joker came back into Batman comics after being away from Batman comics for years. They retired the character. And eventually the character came back, I think, in the late 1960s because of the TV show. And now you're getting into kind of like the psychological aspects. And hey, Monkey Jeebus. Lucius, no, I'm getting to Lucius Fox. Trust me, I'm getting to Lucius Fox. That's one of my only things I have against the 89 Batman film. I don't know why, but for some reason, when you have an actor of color that's looking for a good part to play, and they don't, he according to him, they got nothing, and that's the main reason why he decided to play Two-Face. That's because nobody updated what everybody was working with to let him know that Lucius Fox was a character. By the time the Batman movie in '89 came out, Tim Burton's Batman, Lucius Fox had been around about 10 years. So he wasn't just some brand new character. He'd been around in Batman comics for 10 years. And they decided to, since they didn't know him, they didn't use him at all. So that's the big Lucius Fox question right there. Because I'm sure any actor would have wanted to play Lucius Fox. Because that meant you get to be on Team Batman for one. It wasn't just Alfred and Bruce anymore. It was Alfred, Bruce, and Lucius. And that would have made a lot more sense. But Tim Burton, I think, was either not into it or I don't know what. But Lucius Fox was never even considered at all. It wasn't like they, it was like, oh, aesthetically, we can't use that. It was like they didn't know the character existed at all. So, anyway, Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams really changed Batman. In fact, in many ways, they reinvented the character to the extent where you had all these new characters and new ways of fighting. You had characters come in that many of whom really reset the table for the character in a way that allowed Batman to become this incredible character and really grow his rogues gallery. The smartest thing they ever did was getting out of Wayne Manor because, again, everybody knew the TV show. So the smartest thing they ever did was as soon as they got control of everything, they found a reason to get rid of Wayne Manor or get Bruce Wayne out of Wayne Manor and put him at the top of Wayne Tower in his penthouse, downtown Gotham, and had Batman operate out of that. And that's with that whole new lifestyle, way of doing things. Plus, they decided to allow Dick Grayson to basically move on. They got him out of high school, got him right into college, which means he wasn't always going to be around. He would not be there, and it was just going back to Alfred and Batman like they began all those years ago, which it's over 30 years before that. So they were kind of starting all over again. Not unlike what DC's done now with their Absolute Batman, which, again, their Absolute line, I have to congratulate DC Comics. Their Absolute line is selling, and it's selling very well. Fans seem to really dig it. And the biggest thing they got going on is Absolute Batman. And I just have to give them credit. It's not something that I can't say I'm not the biggest fan. It's Batman, but I mean, it's different. It's exceedingly different. But I'm just glad that they have a new take on it, and it seems to be working out for DC Comics. Marvel Comics, on the other hand, are not doing so hot. And just like with what Netflix might do to DC Comics in the future, it's looking more and more like the axe is going to fall on Marvel Comics soon. From what I'm hearing, the rumor I've heard is that Disney Publishing may end up absorbing Marvel Comics. So some of the tip-top bosses at Marvel will now find themselves jobless. And Marvel's not that into, Disney's not that into doing a lot of this stuff. They might try to farm out some of this work. They may find other comic book companies to officially start making certain comic books. But for the most part, yeah, Disney Publishing's not ready for a lot of this. And it's affected really Marvel sales. They have gone down a lot to the point where, at least not since the mid-1970s, it's looking like DC is going to have a much longer run as the top-selling company. And that's a big change for a lot of you kids under the age of 35. So it's definitely something that I remember from my lifetime. But it's a different thing, and it's a different world. You know, we are on the verge of losing American comic book companies. Hate to be that guy to announce it to you, but that's the long and short of it. So DC and Marvel still pretty much make up a majority of the sales. A lot of your independents aren't doing so hot. And when it comes to what kids are wanting to read, unless it's manga, a lot of them aren't really reading this stuff. And when it comes to long-time readers, a lot of them have been chased away because they're allowing people who are not fans of these characters, and this is both Marvel and DC, they're allowing people who are not fans of these characters to write these characters. And you're driving away a fan base that has money and are extremely loyal, do not feel that you are making comic books for them to read. So they're not buying them anymore. See? Gambit? Let's see. Gambit says, let's just hope that Matt Reeves doesn't screw up with the iconography of Batman. Yeah, I'm not. Again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Given everything I've just talked about, there is more than enough in terms of characters and storylines where if all you did was just adapt all of the stuff that Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams did and avoided using the well-trodden characters of the known characters of Batman, Riddler, Joker, and Penguin. If you just avoided and just used everything that Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams came up with, it would be Batman, but it would be different and it'd be great because nobody's really used a lot of those characters. Instead, what you're getting is Matt Reeves' attempt to update these characters. And so far, that is a majority of my dislike for that first film. Because updating the Riddler the way that he did, he's not doing anything new. I've said it before and I'll say it again. That's Professor Pig is what he's doing. They're just calling him the Riddler. That's Professor Pig. And the plot for that first film, that's 7. That's 7. That's the plot for the movie 7.
Punishing people for the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah, I mean, they just repurposed it. I mean, I hate to be that guy, but you don't. You do realize that having Jeffrey Wright be Commissioner Gordon, you needed to have Jeffrey Wright because he could match Morgan Freeman. Except, here's the thing. Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt's characters, there's a reason why they are the way that they are and why that movie is the way that it is. It doesn't work with Batman, especially having your 2 smartest characters get shown up badly the way that they do in that film. Matt Reeves, I don't know what he was thinking. But Batman and Commissioner Gordon are the leads for a reason. And misunderstanding a clue is just, it's not cool. It's not something that you can easily get away with doing successfully. There was just a lot about that movie that I just didn't like personally. It didn't make sense to me. Given all the training that he's had, And yeah, I get it. It's supposed to be, it's year 2. I have seen that used as an excuse to try to excuse away a lot of the problems that this movie has had. And my thing is, I don't give a care if it's year 2 or not. I'm not saying the character has to be perfect. But there's a lot of stuff they do in that film that is just dumb. Dumb. With a capital D. Yeah, you're right, Gambit. Yeah, Paul Dano played the Riddler, and Reeves made the character look phony. Rather than Paul Dano is a great actor. This guy is talented. You should have had him play Professor Pig. The argument is, well, nobody knows who Professor Pig is. I don't give a care.
Nobody knew who the freaking Guardians of the Galaxy were.
That's right. Batman has been around so long. And you're just going to provide one more, quote-unquote, new version of a character they've already seen. Rather than use someone like Professor Pig. And he's not the only one. Victor Zsasz is also a character that, wow. That character's got a lot. I mean, there's what Matt Reeves said he was doing versus what he actually delivered. And he did not deliver what he promised, in my opinion. You know, he tried to make it seem like he's this big Batman fan who's read all the comics and everything. I see this movie, and all I see is a lot of corporate decisions. I don't see anything in that film that states that he's a big Batman fan and has read Batman comics. I see stuff shot a different way. I see a different way of interpreting Gotham City. And I see him using characters that have already been used in other films. Mm-hmm. I see nothing new.
Well, and I, his take on the Riddler, absolutely off in that movie. In the Pattinson Batman.
Yeah, I agree. It's completely off. Mm-hmm. But it makes a lot. Look, that character makes way more sense if you just call him Professor Pig. Mm-hmm. Then that character makes sense. It's like, oh, well. For one thing, it's a brand new character that a lot of people wouldn't know, but would give an opportunity for fans to find out about. Professor Pig isn't the Joker. He's not the Riddler. He's not the Penguin. He's not a lot of characters. But there are so many characters that, for whatever reason, Warner Brothers and a lot of directors have just never wanted to deal with. I don't know why, because they're great characters. Mm-hmm. Batman's Rogues Gallery is, to me, the best Rogues Gallery in comics. Period. He has some really sick people. And not everybody does things the exact same way. The Riddler is the Riddler because of the way that he chooses to do things. It's really a compulsion on his part. And to want to just have him take that step where now you've turned him into a serial killer, it's like, that's not his MO. That's not the way. And I've heard from me, well, that's not the way they do the character now. Don't care. I really don't care. I mean, if you're changing characters like that, you might as well just have the Green Goblin just take a high-powered rifle and start knocking people off from the top of a building. Why do they need to fly around? Just start taking people out. That's not how the Green Goblin works. You have to fly. But it's new. Yeah, but it's character development. You can shoot people from a distance. He blows their brains out. What?
He's not the Green Goblin, yeah. He's the Green Sniper, maybe.
He's the Green Sniper. That's the same logic with the Riddler. You know, you can't make a major change like that and still get away with calling him the Riddler. But here's the other thing. Batman has so many characters that you can actually find a character that fits that if you'd actually do research. And my hang up with Matt Reeves is that the film was delayed because he had to, quote unquote, rewrite the script. So they delayed this film for almost a year before they started shooting because he had to rewrite the script. Translation, getting rid of Ben Affleck's script to write his own. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Ben Affleck wasn't going to be a part of it. They were moving away from that. I got no problem with that. But when you try to gaslight me into thinking, oh yeah, I'm one of you guys. I read all of the Batman's comics. I know exactly what you guys are thinking. I know how you feel, you know. And he comes up with that film, and it's just like, ugh. You know, I said it before, and I'll say it again. That film needed to be rewritten, and it needed an additional 2 or 3 passes. And again, there was absolutely no reason to have Catwoman in that film. She does nothing for that film at all. And then you have the whole setup about, oh, well, the cops, they hate Batman. Okay, well, now you've just written yourself into another corner because now you can't explain the reason why Batman can get blown up in a church, and instead of going to the hospital, that he wakes up in police custody in a room where he's surrounded by cops. Again,
he's not handcuffed, and he still has his mask.
And he still has his mask on.
Right. It's like, what?
And they hate him. They don't like the guy. So how did he wind up getting moved from the church to the police interrogation room and nobody go, well, let me just take the mask off?
Right.
I mean, he still has all his weapons in his utility belt, too. I mean, what?
Yeah. This dude should be almost butt naked with his hands behind his back. Wrists inverted so his hands aren't facing each other in prison cuffs.
Yeah.
This guy should be shackled hand and foot. Not, hey, let's just toss him in an interrogation room.
Again, you're trying to make more of a detective film, and that's great. My criticisms of the Batman are mainly rooted in what I was presented. You said that you were wanting to do A, B, and C, and I'm not seeing a lot of good stuff in that script. I'm not seeing it. I'm not saying the movie is the worst movie of all time. I'm just saying, look, I don't know what it was. I don't know if you just ran out of time or didn't have a good idea. It sounded like you were trying to put something together to me, and you just sort of started just throwing characters in there. And go ahead.
I think the writer was inspired by the Nolan's Scarecrow when he said, I say that would make a script that would take you to new places. He never said that you would like them.
Yeah, it is not representative of what the source material has, which is what Matt Reeves was basically saying. He's trying to make it so like, oh yeah, I'm going to be the first to do this with Batman. And that should have been everybody's
two.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to 2, he'd be the latest. But I just, as a Batman fan, was expecting so much. And it turns out that he didn't even I can't even say that I'm disappointed so much as just, it's just another line. You handed me another line, and I kind of got my hopes up just a tiny bit that you were going to be able to deliver something different, and you didn't. I mean, parts of this film made some of the things that they did on the Gotham TV series look great. Because at least they took chances. They were introducing you to some new characters. And it seems like Matt Reeves is just wanting to do his own thing, which is fine. You can do your own thing. But it would make more sense to do it with all these characters that aren't that well known by the general public. That's all I'm saying. Why do you got to use the Joker? Why do you got to use the Penguin and all these characters that we've seen used before? The Batman is such a strong character. You could actually get away with not using all of those characters really for several films. And just keep them in the background. Keep them as almost myths, the same way Batman is to a certain extent. And just work your way up. I just was very, very disappointed in the fact that Matt Reeves couldn't deliver. Now, I know the Batman 2 is on the way. I'm hoping this movie is better. I'm hoping that we get to see something different. But from what I've been hearing, no, we're going to get more of the same. Basically, just like with the TV series The Penguin, it's going to be a lot of mob drama. And in the same way that JJ loved to use lens flares, we're going to get a lot of dark, dark, dark scenes to cover up the fact that, hey, I don't have to act for a few moments here. But I'll at least be able to walk around the room so everybody can hear me, so the bad guys can stop doing what they're doing long enough to try to figure out that I'm getting closer and closer and nobody pull out a weapon and shoot me. Just saying. Batman walking up to a door and knocking on it, that's different. Made no sense, man. But it is year 2, so I guess, mistakes like that. Oh, it's just year 2. He's going to walk up to the door and knock on it. Yeah, right. But in many ways, that's also my same frustration, though, with Al Jordan. They released the official, your first official look at what the title screen will be for the upcoming Lanterns television series. And again, I'm not impressed. They've already done more damage in just how they put all this together. And again, when you're trying to take an idea and instead of using that idea, you use a completely different idea to tell the story of an idea over here that I've never understood that. I've never understood doing that. I enjoyed True Detective. I don't need to watch a superhero version of that. I'm sorry, I'm just not that interested in seeing a superhero version of True Detective. And yet, that's what they're going to do. That's how they're going to provide the entertainment for Lanterns, is doing a True Detective version and adding situations and characters that do not occur in the comics at all. Two very powerful people with these very powerful devices on their hands. And we're going to spend a lot of time walking in rooms where they're going to try to figure this out and be detectives. And that was not the problem with the movie. The problem with the film really was all of the Earth scenes. All of the Oa scenes were fantastic. Every person who's ever seen that movie says the same thing. All of the non-Earth scenes were fantastic. Ryan Reynolds was perfect. But the moment he's on Earth and they have all the... That was just bad. That was just bad. And it brought down the movie. Cam's Crash Courses. Cam says, hi, everyone. Keith and
I'm sorry.
everyone else.
And those other guys.
And those other guys. Hello, Cam. Happy birthday to the Cape Crusader, of course. The man of Bat. The real Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne's real identity.
Yeah, his real identity is Batman.
Monkey Jeebus. Spider-Man has better rogues. Spider-Man has very colorful rogues, comparatively speaking. Protox.
Yes,
Hello.
welcome.
So somebody made the comparison.
Yeah.
Because most of Batman's villains, a lot of Batman's villains have doctorates.
Yes.
And a lot of Spider-Man's villains also seem to have doctorates.
Yes.
So Batman and Spider-Man's villains are what you have when you have a science degree without humanities.
You can definitely tell.
But
you can definitely tell the education system for both those places are doing well.
But then who is it? But see, we'll see a lot of Batman's villains are scientific doctorates, right? You've got Dr. Freeze, because the comparison was one of them was when you have science degrees without the humanities, and the other was humanities degrees without sciences.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's like half and a half between those two rogues galleries. But yeah, Batman's the majority of Batman's are very, very lethal.
Of course. Well, look. Batman 2, I hear, is going to have, I think it was Brad Pitt was announced.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think the world of Brad Pitt, but I think Stanley Tucci would have been better. Because I know with Brad Pitt, they're wanting to do, I think it was Two-Face. I said, screw that. You should get Stanley Tucci and have him be Hugo Strange.
Strange would be... Okay, Strange does not strike me as a year 2 Batman villain. Strange
we're still gonna stay on that year 2 thing, even though your lead actor has aged noticeably. I mean,
I've seen what they can do with makeup. But no, I mean, but you mentioned that they were going for year 2. It was but
no. Year 2 is what the Batman was.
Right. Okay.
That's what that movie was. Year 2. That was the excuse used. And every time I had a criticism, ultimately the person who loved it was, well, it was year 2. It's like, that doesn't mean anything. Realistically, Batman probably should have died several times in that film.
Well, realistically, he should have died several times in the comics. But
true. But I mean, walking up to the door of a strange place, dressed as the Batman, and you knock on the door and wait for a response.
Yeah.
I'm not. I just can't. I can't stop shaking my head.
Well,
it's like,
still, my point still, in my head still stands. Hugo Strange is one for a more, even after, Batman 2, Hugo Strange is far more complex than most of Batman's villains.
But that's what you're going for. When you have a serial killer that is meant to be someone who is pulling a butt. Look, first and foremost, serial killers are not who people think of when you think of Batman in comics. Okay? That the moment you start introducing that means you're opening up to a whole new group of characters. And all I've ever said is, if you're going to take it up to that level and it be like that, if you're making a Batman movie for a more mature audience, Batman can do that. But you don't redo the characters that have been done 1,000 times before to fit in this new milieu. What you do is you use the characters that he already has that have done that. Professor Pig and Hugo Strange are characters that are part of that. They're also characters that Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams used because that was their way of taking everything up a notch. Rather than continuing to use the same villains that had been, many of which had been invented in the 1940s and 50s, you were using new villains to fit a new way that they were handling the character. And it worked. What they did gave Batman life again. It brought the character back. Because Batman would not have survived doing all the stuff that you saw basically made fun of in the television series. It would not have survived. Sales for the comics were basically null and void. And a lot of people have fond memories of the TV series. But those very same people probably didn't realize the comic book was on the verge of being canceled because nobody was reading the comics. For whatever reason, the comic book readers of Batman weren't really... Well, I should say the people who were being turned on to the character of Batman were not happy with a Batman comic that wasn't what they saw on TV. That wasn't as silly. It would have been very easy for DC to just go through and republish all of the issues they had in the 1950s, which would have, in my opinion, happily satisfied every single one of those fans. Because that's where they took their inspiration. In fact, that's where Joel Schumacher's Batman and Robin also takes its inspiration from the Batman comic books of the 1950s. That's where all that stuff comes from. The different Batman. Oh, go ahead.
Which the 50s Batman, I have to say, I have to agree, is not best Batman.
Oh, it depends. It depends on when you grew up and what version of Batman was your version. Look, that version of Batman had many different strong suits. One of them was the fact that that was the Batman that smiled a lot. That was the Batman that had the many different uniforms. So you had a bat costume that was for underwater, for deep space, the bat costume that, invented for, all kinds of, that was the 1950s.
The bat shark costume.
Yes, he probably had something like that. It had the bat winter costume. When they did that in Joel Schumacher's Batman and Robin, I was one of the few people that, while the movie wasn't that entertaining for me, I at least said you can't ding them on that because they actually did that in the comics. He actually did have a bat costume that was made for the more wintry type stuff out there. And that's kind of what you saw with the character of Night Owl in Watchmen 2. As well, I should say, not Watchmen 2. Let's see. Always a wealth of facts. Appreciate your contributions to the chat. Cheers, mate. I just and thank you, Cam. I just think that if you really, really, really want to do something different with the character, if you really want to stand out, just start adapting all of that stuff, starting with the Batman comics, starting with 1970. Just start from the year 1970 and go, into what they did over those first 5 years. You're going to have some stuff that is just, it'll be Batman, but it will be different. And you could save the use of Joker, Penguin, and all those other characters for those times when you could really put them in there to mess with that character. Because what Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams did was really in comic book form what Christopher Nolan did with the Dark Knight films. Is add a tiny bit of realism and difference to all of that. Because prior to that, just like with DC Comics books, DC Comics were always light. They were always the good guys. They were always the just this side of Archie Comics. For anybody under the age of 40, you don't realize that, but that's exactly what DC Comics were. Marvel Comics was the hard comics. It was hard and tough and gritty and about the city and problems. And that was Marvel. Oh, yeah. And which is ironic for those of us that grew up reading these comics in the early 1970s and stuff like that, to see the way the films are now and the way that fans seem to consider them, it's backwards. It's complete. It's a complete upside down and backwards version with both companies. And it's kind of funny to those. You can always tell, how young someone is when they, DC Comics are all hard and gritty and dark. It's like, yeah, you're kind of young, aren't you? So, anyway, that's that, along with the information that, again, that I've learned about what's going on with Marvel and what possibly could go on with DC. I mean, we're pretty much looking at the end of both publishing companies within probably the next 5 years, if not sooner. Marvel really is not doing that well right now. And Disney has lost enough money, mainly just doing dumb stuff, but Disney's lost enough money where I think they very well could just go ahead and fold Marvel into Disney Publishing, which was something that I heard about from a friend of mine in the business back when Disney first acquired Marvel. And it's been, almost 10 years now? So, I just, Gambit says, Batman Forever, 1995, was allegedly influenced by the early vintage Batman comics from World War II. I don't know. I mean, that may be what Joel Schumacher said, but I always thought Batman Forever was really influenced by more by the O'Neil and Adams books of the 70s. The kind of, when it came to using one of the classic quote unquote villains, they were allowed to be themselves with a difference. you have higher stakes. And in reality, these characters were not trying to be the nicest of nice characters, although how they did their thing was still the same, but the results were a little harder in a sense. What I mean is the Riddler was still the Riddler, teaming up with Two-Face. Two-Face was a little hard by the 1970s. But that's because Two-Face really is a guy who, outside of just the whole scarred face thing, he really did believe in killing people. See, now that character you could have gotten away with in the Batman if you wanted to make a character, a movie that was darker and had a harder kind of gangster, nightmarish type edge. That would have been a character that you could have gotten away with that to a certain extent. But having, going that extra step of turning the Riddler into a serial killer, that's a step too far. You would have been better off just using one of the bad guys that was already a serial killer. Just saying. Let's see. Let's not forget Super Friends, 1973. That's an alternate universe. Let's see. And Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil. Don't forget Denny O'Neil. There's a reason why Denny O'Neil was called the Professor. While Neil Adams could draw anything, Denny O'Neil was really the boss for all things Batman. Any Batman comic produced between 1969 and 1987 was either written by and or overseen in some way by Denny O'Neil, because Denny O'Neil became DC's overall boss for Batman. He became the protector of that character. So all of those comics produced in that period were overseen by Denny O'Neil. Let's see. I know, Monkey Genius, I used Gotham earlier as an example of kind of like, not the best example. I know there's this thing where they want to turn him into a serial killer, but hello?
That's not the Riddler's MO.
No, it's not.
It's not what he's all about.
I mean, he will attempt to kill somebody, but it's usually,
It's usually in those situations, the way I see how everything the Riddler is, it's his particular psychosis or neurosis is he gave you every opportunity to save the person.
Mm-hmm.
If they die, it's on you.
Yeah.
He's
not killing somebody and leaving the body to tell some kind of a big message. That's
right.
Not the Riddler. That's not his thing.
Yeah. The Riddler, see, because I've always seen the Riddler as this kind of guy who goes, all right, let's see how smart you really are, smart guy.
Yes. His whole thing is matching wits.
Mm-hmm.
He believes he's smarter than whoever he goes up against, including the Batman. He believes he's smarter than anybody else. So it's you versus your brain versus my brain.
Right. So that, it's one of those things of, I didn't kill them. You failed to save them.
That's right. Now what you're describing, that's people like Professor Pig. Mm-hmm. And the extra added thing is that Professor Pig only went after people who were bad people.
Mm-hmm.
So then you have the flip
makes
of
fighting
the
him
story.
hard.
Yeah. But then you have the flip of the story. Some people would argue Batman. It's like, well, why is this guy a bad guy? He's actually doing you a favor. And Batman's response would be, he's still going out and killing people.
Right.
It doesn't matter what.
Yeah, because even Batman will go, okay, let's put you in therapy.
Yes, let's put you in therapy, put you in jail. I mean, you gotta pay for your crimes. Just having somebody show up who's just gonna flail somebody. I mean, again, 7. That's what the movie is. It's a different version of 7. It's 7 with a Batman milieu. It's exactly what the Batman is. It's a retelling of 7.
And again, that's because, and the thing is at its heart, even at his worst, the Riddler doesn't always go to kill.
Yeah. Professor Pig.
Hmm?
Professor Pig's big thing is he kills.
Right. The Riddler's is he wants you to try to outwit him.
That's right.
Which is why Batman frustrates him, because Batman does not fail.
Batman constantly proves that either he's a match and or smarter than he is, and he can't take that. His ego can't take that. Right?
Which is weird, because you would think that if his ego couldn't take it, he would find an excuse not to, but he still keeps going. But that's what crazy does.
Yes, that's exactly it. I know I keep going over. He's constantly on this Professor Pig thing. Look, if you don't know the character very well, you should pick up some of those comics. Because then you'll start reading, it's like, wait a minute, this is just like the movie. This is the Riddler and the Batman. Well, duh.
You think?
You think?
Go figure.
It's just every villain is in its own way distinct. There's a reason why they are there. There's a reason why they are used and popular and stuff like that. Now, Professor Pig's not that popular, but this movie would have helped if Matt Reeves had used Professor Pig. More people would know the character.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you could get away with using Hugo Strange because of who Hugo Strange is. He doesn't actually have to be the villain. I would have someone I would have introduced Hugo Strange in the first movie, and have him be kind of like the Emperor in Star Wars. Have him be like Palpatine and just play in the background until he's finally revealed to be the puppet master.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would have done. And having someone like a Stanley Tucci, again, not out of the realm of possibility to be in a comic book film. You got some people like, he'll never do it. He's already done it more than once. Stanley Tucci has no room to be like that, because he did Captain America: The First Avenger, but more so, he appeared in a Transformers movie. So it's like, dude, really? You could be Hugo Strange. You could easily be Hugo Strange. I mean, it would be too on the nose to get Kevin Spacey to be Hugo Strange. But but Stanley Tucci, come on. Oh, Nick Cage for Hugo Strange?
No.
No, that would be too.
Cage would
He'd be a better Victor.
Yeah.
He'd be a better Victor Zsasz.
He would. He does that level of psycho so well.
I think you could even get him to cut his hair off. I think you can get him to go bald, and he'd be a fantastic Victor Zsasz.
Oh, he would lean the fuck into that Victor Zsasz, jeez. Yeah. Who else? Because I keep on thinking there's another villain that would, because Cage's version of crazy is like, eyes bug out.
Yep.
I mean,
how about Batista? That's strange.
Dave Batista?
Yeah. You need to look. I haven't seen enough out of Dave Batista's acting ability. Hugo Strange is a guy who can play on many levels. Mm-hmm. He is like Hugo Strange really is, what's the best way of putting it? Hugo Strange is a combination.
Whoa. I need to stop you right there.
Yeah.
Because look at this. Look who's here.
Well. Hello, G. It's good to see you, big man. I'd say Dave Bautista would make a very good. Well, no, I wouldn't say Professor Pig because Professor Pig kind of has. He's also got this really very pronounced Southern accent, and I can't see Dave Bautista pulling that off. Dave Bautista would make a very good Bane. Yes.
He could do a good Bane, but Bane, I think, has a Spanish accent that Bautista would have a hard time pulling off.
No,
Bautista's
not Spanish, it's Brazilian.
Yeah, I couldn't. He has basically a Brazilian accent that I don't think Bautista could pull off effectively. Bautista does good, intense, because don't let Drax fool you as to where his range lies. It's fairly narrow, but it's
that's why I had it in mind for Strange, because the physicality, the voice, and that aspect that you just mentioned.
Yeah, you know who's, oddly enough, I think Bautista could play. It's not a Bat villain specifically, but Vandal fucking Savage.
No, I can't go with that one, and I'll tell you why. Okay. Vandal Savage is someone who has reached a point where he could, but he doesn't anymore because he's now beyond it. But he's someone who you could see that for certain parts of his existence fit in with different places that he went. He there should be remnants, even in the way that he talks, based on certain places that he's lived, certain personalities, and also understand. One of the things that the Hollywood version of the character has always gotten wrong about Vandal Savage is there were parts in his life where he actually was a quote-unquote good guy. He lived certain portions of his life where, for that particular period of time, he wasn't someone that was acting against humanity, right. But ultimately, he's kind of in a certain way, he's kind of reached a position in his mind that is very much like Thanos, in so much as that it's a only I can fix this problem type of mentality. And his way of solving it is just to allow him to be the leader. That's what he wants. He wants full control.
Just put me in charge. Yep. I'm the only, but the reason I think about it is because for all that he is very intelligent, Savage is still a very physical being.
Yes. He is a very physical guy, but he's very intelligent. You have to see that. You have to. You have. Again, I'm very biased because after seeing him, what was the name of that movie? It was both his performance in Blade Runner 2049, but also his performance in what was the name of that film? The James Bond movie that he did. And both of those, there was no real difference in those two movies from his portrayal. In fact, you could also put him from Dune, and there's no real difference. He's very limited. That doesn't mean he's a bad actor, but he's limited, and you have to learn how to use that limitation in the right way. Now, you could get away with maybe having him as the body of Bane and having someone else do the voice.
Right.
But for the most part, I mean, again, you're still going to have those people that are going to, for instance, Gambit, Tom Hardy. You see, Tom Hardy was Christopher Nolan's Bane. If you never had read Bane in the comics, then yeah, I could see that. But if you did, you got to understand that Bane, yeah, he's not from around here.
Yeah, well, and the whole idea of, it's like, you're really adopted the shadows. I was born in them. No, that's not Bane.
Yeah, it's not Bane.
No, Bane is not about shadow. Bane is about strength,
Yeah.
And, so I was like, geez, no, that's, Mads Mikkelsen for Savage. No,
that would be interesting. That would be
that.
Okay, Real Popcorn Geek. Now that's something I could. Okay, yes, I could see Mads Mikkelsen as Bane. I mean, Vandal Savage. Sorry,
yeah, no.
Mads Mikkelsen as Vandal Savage could work. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's got that. He's got that. He's got that air about him of, I know shit you don't.
But there's also an actor that could cross over for two other parts. That I could see Michael Fassbender as either Hugo Strange or as Vandal Savage. Either one of those.
I could see him better as Strange, because Savage has a physicality to him that Nicholson does not quite embody for me.
Yeah. In a way.
How's that?
James says you describe Vandal Savage like a Highlander. Yeah, he is an immortal, but he's an immortal that has in living so long, he's had an opportunity to play both sides. That's part of the reason what makes him so dangerous is that he has had long enough to think about this. He's had some time to really consider things, and that makes him truly dangerous. I consider him to be one of the top 5 most dangerous villains in DC Comics, because he's a thinker, he's a planner. He does not do things on a whim. He is very meticulous. And when he decides to do something, he's thought about it and worked out the angles. That's really what makes him a very, very dangerous villain, and someone who would be very difficult for Batman to plot against. But it's that same thing about Hugo Strange. Hugo Strange is a planner, and that, in that respect, Batman being a more physical person, he's one up in that respect. Batman could easily kill him. Batman could easily kill Hugo Strange.
Yeah, on a physical level, Strange is not a combatant.
Yeah.
But that's what makes him so dangerous, is Batman cannot beat him with his fists.
Yeah.
And
And Strange does not act unless he's worked out the angles. But he's also that dude that gets to you psychologically.
Yeah, he lives in your head.
Oh, geez. What about Christoph Waltz as Strange? Christoph Waltz would be good, but you got to remember, this is supposed to be like Batman. What? This would be like Batman Year 5 now. So Hugo Strange can't be that old. He has to be a person of a certain age. So if Batman's in his 20s, if Bruce Wayne's in his 20s, Hugo Strange at least has to be early 40s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Batman about year 5, when he's, starting to, because this is something that, given all the things that Batman at his peak is supposed to know, he, even at year 5, I posit that he's still learning. He's still learning stuff.
Well, that's the difference between having him be someone that is self-taught versus someone who traveled the world and learned everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also what I have a problem with.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Nolan's solution for that was having a shortcut or a shortened version of how to really streamline that by having him become part of the League of Shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've taken care of all this training, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
You just wrapped it up with just one thing, and that's fine.
But that still doesn't. Yeah.
But in the comics, it took him a while to gain all of that knowledge. He had to go to where the smart people were. And nowadays, we live in a time where a lot of people of a certain age have been very affected by reading stuff like Harry Potter. Well, you can't have all that knowledge unless there's a special school for it. Well, not really. If you really want to know how to be the best at something, you got to go find the people that are the best,
that are doing it,
and learn directly from them. And that's the part of the story that Denny O'Neil added to the Batman mythos in trying to break down how Batman learned everything, because for the most part, for a long time, they kind of glossed over that. They said they tried to imply that Batman went to college and was able to learn all these disciplines. And what Denny O'Neil did is like, no, he did go to college and he finished, but he also understood that there were people that knew certain things, and he went out and sought those people out and learned. And to me, that makes a lot more sense, because there's a lot of people that would never, there's certain people that would never be allowed on college campuses, let alone to affect young minds. And
right, yeah, no. Well, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that they took the original private detective that Batman learned from Ducard and turned him into Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, that's the other thing. That you're robbing yourself of all of this additional context and texture that are these layers that are a part of who Bruce Wayne is. You see him slowly becoming this person who he's building over time. And again, it's just, I was not a fan of what Matt Reeves did. I didn't hate it, but I was not a fan of it, because I just thought, I can't really give you any credit for being cool and original if you're having to rip off a film that somebody else did, or use that as sort of like your template for telling your story. And that's the same thing with Lanterns. I cannot really look at that seriously, knowing that they were using True Detective as their basis for putting this together. Like, I just don't get it. You've got decades of comics over here, yet you want to use True Detective to be your jump off point for creating a Green Lanterns television series. I'm not getting that, Yeah. Jeffrey Combs would have made a good Hugo Strange back in the 90s. Probably. Hugo Strange is one of those characters that he will mess you up. And unlike say a character like Jigsaw, well, unlike a lot of other characters, Hugo Strange in the end will either have you working for him,
Mhm.
or he will convince you that basically you ending your own life would be the best solution.
Right.
That's what makes him dangerous.
Right.
So
yeah, and I hate to because they've already used him, but Ben Kingsley would have made a better Hugo Strange.
ooh, dude. Oh man. Okay, got to give it up to Ben. Got to give it up to Ben. Wow.
I mean, the character that he played as Mandarin, that's I mean,
And you'll never see coming.
Yeah. Just
Well,
I mean, the man has range that beyond human hearing.
I myself have a weak spot for Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Look.
Sir Anthony,
Remember his Hannibal.
that's why I would
Yeah.
say no, because
What?
He's already done it. He's already done it.
It's not so much that is he plays unhinged. Strange is not unhinged. Strange is calculating. Strange is sociopathic. Is sociopathic. Hopkins. When Hopkins plays bad, he plays.
Made a mixture.
Mhm.
Made a mixture between his Van Helsing,
Mhm.
his side of Lecter when he's
Mhm.
convincing you to destroy yourself,
Mhm.
and Old Man Talbot in the Wolfman.
See, though, I also see. Yeah, I see where you're coming from with that, but he doesn't. There's a sinisterness about Strange that is different than the sinister that Hopkins embodies.
Yeah.
Hopkins would make a good Joker.
Look what James said.
Let's see.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can't have God. You play. You can. You're right. You're right. That would be kind of bad, but then you wouldn't have really seen that coming, right? Right?
God, he played Hugo Strange. Yes, you can. Like I said, that man has range beyond human comprehension.
It fits because he wouldn't be physically fighting. He'd just be using words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Gambit, you and I are in agreement. I think Hopkins would be a great Joker, maybe an older version of the Joker. But
if he were 40 years younger, he'd be near perfect.
Right.
The way, if he had played it around the time he did the movie Magic, he would have been a perfect Joker. Perfect.
Oh, you know who else would have made a good Joker in their younger years? Roddy McDowell.
Oh, heck yes.
He would have just.
Oh, heck yes.
He would have been great. But yeah, for Hugo Strange, I would have to say Kingsley is the only person I can see hitting that with no notes. Hopkins, like I said, Hopkins has a different level of sinister, which, I agree with you, Martin. Anthony Hopkins can do crazy nuts sinister. Hello, Spartacus. But Kingsley can do that calculating psychopath. Hopkins looks like he's enjoying what he's doing too much. Mm-hmm. And whereas and I think that's the thing is I think when Hopkins does it, you get that his character is enjoying every horrific thing that he's doing. When Kingsley does something, it's there is no particular pleasure or disdain for it. It is simply what needs to be done. You know, and I'm just like that. There's that cold, dispassionate quality that Kingsley can embody. That you know,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, it's there are a lot of, if we really think about it, there are a lot of good actors that could do it, but it's what you bring to it, you know,
Right.
how intense you can do it. Because look, there have been several names revealed here just today that some of them I had never even thought of,
Mhm.
you know, but since they've already casted for the Batman 2, I mean, you've already, it's supposed to be I think it's Brad Pitt and Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah. Oh God. And thinking about Brad Pitt as Two-Face, I just I go back to 12 Monkeys. I think that was him in 12 Monkeys, right?
I'd have to look that up.
Yeah, no.
My brain is stalling.
Right? No. Yeah, no.
I'm sorry, what's the question?
Brad Pitt was in he played a
Oh yeah, he was in 12 Monkeys. Yes.
he was the kid.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jeffrey
yeah,
Goins.
yeah.
His level of crazy in 12 Monkeys. Oh, yeah.
Actually, Brad Pitt would have made a really good Professor Pig.
He would, but I think he would make a better Two-Face.
Yes.
Simply because he can go from, I mean, his range also somewhat limited, but I have never seen anybody go from specifically functionally sane to batshit. You know, for just total bug nuts, you know, crazy, just, you know, like he can. You know, a weird film to have seen that in is Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah.
You know, just he does good action. He's got some range. He would make a very good Two-Face. And if they're casting him for Two-Face, I think it's not a bad choice. I think there may be better actors for it.
Yeah, I think you could come up with someone a little younger to be Two-Face, because Harvey is supposed to be closer to Bruce's age. And with
Right.
Brad Pitt, I would have casted him as someone who I would have casted him as Black Mask. Black Mask
He could do, yeah.
Because it's also about once that mask goes on, it's a different personality.
Right.
And
he can do that.
Yeah, he could do that. He could be an underworld gangster type, especially after what you saw in multitude of films, but mainly with Fight Club.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Fight Club is the other one I should have been referencing for that. Yeah.
Edward Norton, yes, Edward Norton, but Edward's kind of got a little bit of a difficulty thing going on. But I will say this: Ed Norton, with everything that he's done in his career, could do Hugo Strange. I think he could. I think he could do it.
Zaz is his.
That'd be too easy. No, Zaz would be too easy. Given everything he's done, Zaz would be too easy for him to do. Mm-hmm. It would be about paying him enough not to be bored. You know?
Right. Yeah. No, Zaz is so far inside his range.
Yeah.
Yeah. The hard part would be getting him to put enough effort into it to make it good.
Yes.
Because Zaz is definitely, is definitely easy, too easy.
And another Hugo Strange. Man, I can't believe I'm just now thinking of this name. John Malkovich.
Oh God. Oh God, yes. Malkovich doing. Oh geez.
And he's already done 3 DC Comics movies.
Yeah.
So
Oh hell yes. Yeah, no, I've gotta say, oh, but yeah, I'm sorry. Kingsley just got booted out in my head canon because John Malkovich could read Dr. Seuss and turn it into a horror story.
Oh yeah, easy. Easy.
You know,
You could take a child
yeah.
reciting, say, like the most innocent poem out of the middle of Sesame Street or whatever, and he could just he would
Yeah, no.
turn that evil. He would turn that evil instantly.
Yeah, no. God, I just was he in Hitchhiker's Guide?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh God, that's just like Malkovich. Okay, so
Talking to the same guy that was Cyrus the Virus.
Yeah.
which would put him up there for both Victor Zsasz, but he'd also be a very good Vandal Savage. He would also be a very good. I mean, you could just put John Malkovich in just whatever role.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, they're the only ones. Oh, okay. This is sick, twisted, and wrong.
Oh, we got to hear it.
Could you imagine Malkovich's version of the Penguin?
Oh my God. That's an Oscar-winning performance right there.
Yeah, no, I just heard Keith's brain implode on that.
Oh, jeez, dude. My head.
Yeah.
I don't even think he'd even get that far.
Right? No.
I don't even think he'd really have to laugh. I mean, he's
right.
Of knowledge.
Yeah,
but him as I would still go with the current person who we have as the Penguin, but to have Malkovich go up against him as Hugo Strange, he would even creep the Penguin out.
Yeah. Jeez. He would even.
Yeah, you're right, James. You're right. If Malkovich, read Mary Had a Little Lamb, yeah, you would. Oh yeah, yeah.
I would like. Oh, that's yeah. Just Malkovich existing gives me the creeps.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, part of his,
I just think that there are so many different ways to go that you don't have to go with the more traditional known Batman villains. You could go outside and just pick villains that aren't that well known,
right?
And turn it into something. Like, for instance, I would go like this. If they decided for this next movie to do Ra's al Ghul, who would you cast as Ra's al Ghul? Well, Ra's al Ghul, in my opinion, could easily be. Let's see. I would pick. Why are you laughing?
Oh, sort of poopus.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch for Ra's al Ghul?
Yeah. Look
Really?
at his face. Look at his face when he's doing Strange. You just have to give him a bigger mustache, and there you have it.
For Hugo Strange, possibly.
No, Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul. Yes, I could see him as Ra's al Ghul just as easily as I could see him for Vandal Savage.
Savage would be scary.
His Savage would be scary. I could see him doing Ra's al Ghul up to a certain point. He does. Here's the thing that Cumberbatch doesn't quite do well, and that's combat acting, martial arts. He is not a martial artist, and it shows in the way he moves. And that's part of the problem with playing anyone who plays Ra's al Ghul is this is a person who is physically a match for the Batman in his prime.
Yeah. It would have look. Originally, I was thinking Benicio del Toro, but Benicio del Toro, like 10 years ago, if I were to pick someone now, it would have to be. Oh man,
right?
I really have to think about that.
Truth be told, though, when you're talking Ra's al Ghul, you could put Donnie Yen in that role, and he could physically handle any American actor you threw at him.
He would be scary.
He would be scary because here's the thing: because Donnie Yen as an actor, first of all, I mean, watching him in It Man is a good start because he can do gentle and such, but then he gets to the point where he does, I'm gonna kick your ass, and Cumberbatch's Victor Zsasz. No, that would be a waste of an actor. But Donnie Yen, I think, would do it. Oddly enough, Jackie Chan came to mind at his current age, and some of his range he's got, but I still don't think he would beat out someone like Donnie Yen or Jet Li. Because
actually, I hate to say this, but it would be actor Justin Baldoni.
Justin Baldoni. Okay, I'm not to
the guy who Blake Lively's in that lawsuit with would make the best Ra's al Ghul. He's young enough, but I think his style of acting would belay a little bit of age there. Another person who could probably, another person who I thought could handle it, but thinking back on it, that would be someone who he's a little older now. And I would have to go. Oh, go ahead. I was going to say, well, years ago, about 10, 15 years ago, I was going to say Antonio Banderas could also do Ra's.
He does have the action chops, yeah.
But he's a little older now, and I don't know if he could actually go through because again, it just throws you off. This is supposed to be the Batman's early years, so you've got to make sure to cast appropriately.
Well, but bear in mind how old Ra's al Ghul actually is.
True. But you also have to be sure that when it comes time to do the action scenes, that the actor can actually pull it off.
Right.
Because you've got an actor who is obviously older against a much younger actor who can,
But by the same token, Affleck pulled off the Batman, and he is, he's not young.
So, well, I mean,
that is why he's not doing Batman anymore.
But that plus the fact that he was in his late 30s, early 40s when he started. He was still at that age where his body could take, the relentless working out and again, I first of all, to his trainer, because his wife at the time was really happy with the results,
right?
Yeah.
I don't see Baldoni having any roles that would have, that show he has that kind of action chops. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I picked him because Benicio del Toro is still a little too old to go that direction. and
Right.
Baldoni's at that right age. He's physically right there.
Yeah.
You get the right part, and Udit Fur would have been great 20 years ago.
He would still do a good non-physical Ra's al Ghul. Having watched him in he's still got it. And he's still he would have to bulk up, but
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Hang on a second. I'm just going to try and look something here really quick. Oddly enough, one person I think who could do it, especially at his current age, is Stephen Strait. Who James Holden from The Expanse.
Yeah.
Yeah. He could do it. He's got the physicality for it. But he's also got the facial feature for it, and by now he has the range.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Gambit. I know. Antonio Banderas is 64, 65. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's I'm coming up with names that 20 years ago they'd be great. They'd be perfect.
Right? Yeah. So now,
I
mean.
But then again, you can still get away with John Malkovich because John Malkovich is just
fucking creepy. But Malkovich is strange. He is not Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, he's not Ra's al Ghul.
No, because that again, Malkovich, like Hopkins, his character, his portrayal always looks like he's enjoying whatever evil he's doing.
True.
Whereas why Kingsley makes a better version because he can play dispassionate. He can play, I'm just doing what needs to be done.
Malkovich is the kind of guy who you could see his character. You could have him in a room in a cell surrounded by a biker gang.
Mm-hmm.
You leave him in that cell with that biker gang, and by the end of the day, he's got everybody in that cell rethinking their life choices.
Right.
Two of them who are the best of friends getting ready to kill each other.
Well, either that or now he has a biker gang.
Right? Yeah, no, really, seriously. Malkovich, you could throw Malkovich into a cell like that, and and
all he needs is time to talk to you, and that's all he really needs. I mean, unlike a lot of other Batman villains, it's not about what he physically does. He just needs to talk to you for a while. It's like, here, I got something to say.
Right? God. Okay, so I know who could play Zaz.
Okay, who would you play? Have play Zaz?
Dude, why are we breaking our head with Zaz when we already had the best actor for Zaz in the Nolan's movie?
Well,
the same guy who plays Zaz.
It would be kind of a waste, but Jackie Earle Haley?
Oh, you mofo. Oh.
Would also okay, he has the range to play Zaz and Hugo Strange.
Oh, my brain! Oh, my brain!
But also, I could put him in the boots of Ra's al Ghul and not flinch.
Oh, jeez. God, I hate you, Ben. That crawled right into my brain. Oh, my gosh. Oh, man. Now I can't unsee it.
Which one are you unseeing? Like all three of them, or just? I mean, the man is 64 years old, and I would still believe him as freaking Ra's al Ghul.
Jackie, you're
No,
on
I
Haley.
wouldn't go with Rage only and only
Mhm.
because he's not the correct height.
Uh,
But man, Hugo Strange, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
However,
Mhm.
now that we have established that the best Strange would be, in fact, Malkovich, I will have to go with Sass.
Mm,
Eh,
I would be interested to see Haley's take on oh god, it was just in my head and now it has left because I'm also seeing him playing the Riddler.
oh, he would have been a better Riddler.
He would have been a fantastic Riddler. Not Strange. Damn it. I'd like to see what he could do with the Joker.
Oh, thanks, G. Yes, I am suggesting that John Malkovich probably could have done that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah. And I gotta say, this is about the fastest 2.5 hour. As we're sitting here, right? As we're sitting here, and I gotta say, Batman would be going, "You assholes."
Oh, and G, that's Philo, Philo.
But oh man, but
Oh wow. Yeah, it's I will probably end up seeing the Batman 2, but I will do it reluctantly. I won't be excited about it, even though I am a big fan of who they're bringing in for this next movie. I'm just not convinced that we're going to get the best out of this. For me, again, we're just playing a story that we've already seen played out, done better in other places. And it would, if you want to be different with Batman, be different. And part of that is just choose different villains.
Right?
Don't use a villain that's already been seen in any of the movies and just go from there. You could have, there are so many Batman villains to choose from. You could make a trilogy of Batman films that are really well done and not use any characters that the general public is that familiar with. You can definitely do a trilogy without ever having Joker or Riddler or Penguin or even Catwoman. You don't even have to go that far. You can just you can use other characters. And it's still Batman.
I mean, and the thing is with Batman, it isn't always the rogues gallery that makes him Batman.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing about Batman's motivations. He's not looking for the Joker. He's not looking for beating the bad guys. He's looking for justice.
Yeah.
He is doing all of this so no one suffers, or as few people suffer the way he did. So you don't have to put a major villain in to have the Batman be the Batman. It could be, it could be a human trafficking gang. It could be drugs hitting the streets of Gotham. It could be, the villain isn't the point of Batman. And I think that's what a lot of things in Hollywood have made the mistake of in missing, in missing the essence of Bruce Wayne / Batman. It isn't, it isn't, I'm going to go find these particular people. No, it's, I'm going to make sure that the people in Gotham are safer than they were before I showed up.
Yeah, that's good. That's true. That is true.
And so you don't have to, for the Batman, show a specific villain. What you have to do is show something for him to defend Gotham against. And I think that's the biggest thing. And I think that's the only thing that kind of worked in the Batman is that, he comes out as I am vengeance. But there is still that core. I think one of the few things they got close to right is that he will still defend the weak. He will still let the one kid go who he thinks has a chance of turning his life around. And I think that's the core essence of any Batman movie is that motivation. He's not doing this to beat bad guys. He's doing this to protect people. But that's just my take.
Yeah. Batman the Ultimate Evil, yes.
I looked away from this.
Although, I think if you were to turn any comic or animated cartoon into a full-fledged live-action movie, I'd have to go with the episode all up. I'd have to go with Over the Edge. That is my favorite episode of Batman the Animated Series. That entire episode could easily be a very exciting live action film. Because it would be so different and it would go places that you wouldn't expect too much. Then it's all about casting all the different parts. So, how about you, Ben? What story would you want to see brought to life?
Oh God. Oddly enough, I haven't had a chance to read a lot of Batman over the years. But the one, and I can't remember the name of it, but I think the one that I would like to see done live action would have to include the one where he basically saves Ace. That to me has always been where people don't know who Batman is.
Yeah. Howdy, nothing witty. 7775.
Live action that I would like to see from the Batman universe.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna like this.
What do you mean? Come on, it's Batman. It's cool.
Thomas Wayne's Batman.
Oh,
cool. Who would you cast? Let's make this one quick. Who would you cast?
What do you mean?
As
the
Thomas
same
Wayne's
guy
Batman.
who plays Batman in the Batman. In Batman v Superman.
Oh, okay. Well,
Richard Dean Morgan, I think.
Richard Dean Morgan. Oh, no.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yeah, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is just phenomenal.
The comedian. Imagine that.
That guy is just phenomenal. Yeah. Wow. Well, I can't beat that. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is the answer.
I could almost see if he were younger.
That's the point.
Yeah, that's
Thomas
the point.
Wayne Batman is old.
Right?
He is older.
Right?
So
oh God, hang on a second. Let me look up the guy's name. Well, he played Commissioner Gordon in the Batman v Superman.
Oh, that's
and J. Jonah Jameson in the recent Spider-Man movies. God, you know who I'm talking about.
Yes, I cannot get his name.
And he played Invincible, or his father.
Yes, the father.
And I think that's the role that made me go, oh yeah, this guy, this motherfucker. You know who I'm talking about?
Yes, J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons, yes.
Academy Award winner.
Yeah. Because he can do that. I am completely right. I'm unhinged, but I think I'm completely right.
Oh, hey, Real Popcorn Geek. That's a good one. Yeah. Hardak episodes for adopt the Ninja and the Hardak episodes from Batman the Animated Series. Batman the Animated Series has a lot of episodes that could easily become movies.
Oh, yes. Definitely.
Almost Got Him is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, a live action of the Mask of the Phantom would be nice.
That's
true.
Yes, that would be good.
That's very true. Mask of the Phantasm would be very good. But you know what would be even better? A live action version of the episode of the 2-part episode, World's Finest. That is the best Superman Batman team up I've ever seen.
Oh,
God,
yes.
No. Apocalypse.
Apocalypse is really good, dude. It is good, but I loved World's Finest. World's Finest has that scene where Joker and Lex Luthor are discussing the terms for them getting together. Meanwhile, you've got Mercy trying to put the hurt on Harlequin.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just phenomenal. I mean, just to watch that entire man, I got to dig that up now. I got to watch that. But
so the other part of that is the conversation that Bruce and Clark have.
Yeah,
where they're alternating. It's like where they're like in one sentence, talking to to Lois, and then immediately switch from Clark Kent voice and Bruce Wayne voice to Superman voice and Batman voice without the costumes, and you have no problem knowing who's talking.
Oh wow!
It's like any sign of they're like, oh yeah, we'll do lunch, and then it's like any sign of the Joker, not a single green hair.
I'm getting the iodine, burning, stinging iodine. Yeah,
just because Kevin Conroy as a voice actor.
Jeez, I miss him.
Yeah. Oh, and Tawny Plattis did a breakdown of Hamill's Joker.
Yeah.
And why he is so disconcerting. Where he talks in a raised larynx to indicate a lot of stress, but then will vary his pitch to keep you guessing. But then his laugh is in a lowered larynx, which is like someone else completely laughing, and I'm going, oh God, why are you so right? So,
That's a good question. It's just,
Public Enemies. Real Popcorn Geek. I can see that one, but I still have to support, World's Finest, because damn, that was such a good version of those two, a good crossover.
What I can't get past,
Mhm.
one of the, having watched James Gunn's Superman, I think the thing I was kind of sort of disappointed in,
Mhm.
and I wasn't realizing I was doing it, but one of the things that disappointed me about Nicholas Holt's performance as Lex Luthor, there were only two things. The one was kind of like an unfortunate thing that Nicholas Holt could not help, which is I was disappointed in his voice because it sounded nothing like Clancy Brown. I mean, Clancy Brown's Lex Luthor.
Yes,
That's Lex Luthor to me.
Yeah, no, that's there, and I think his lack of control. Lex Luthor has always been about control, and Clancy
That's right.
Brown just embodies that with his voice.
The way he lowers his voice, but in the animated cartoon, you could see it by the way they shadow him a little bit, and his eyes kind of like,
Yeah,
I could not be connected to this in any way.
Yeah, no. It's like, how did you get his voice to drop into shadow? How did you make his voice sound like he's in shadow?
Clancy Brown is just great anyway.
Yeah. However,
Mhm.
I have a very soft spot for the animated movie All Star Superman, and I think that was the best rendition of Luthor that I have ever seen, and that was Anthony LaPaglia.
Yes.
Okay,
Well,
and LaPaglia, good actor. I can't fault him.
Yeah.
But,
I
still good.
I loved it, but still Clancy Brown, man. I'm sorry.
Right? Yeah.
If
if you did another live action with Luthor, you've got to get Clancy Brown to shave his head.
Well, now Clancy's
No.
a man of a certain age, and I'm disappointed by that because if he were, man, he's so perfect as Luthor. He could have played Luthor had they made a Superman movie in the 80s and decided to have him in it. But alas, that is not the case.
Actually, I've got to say, Clancy Brown would have to shave his head again.
Yeah, the Kraken, Kurgan.
He did it for Kurgan. Yeah.
Now, still I'm riding my All-Star Superman wave, and
yes,
I wanted to see that Lex Luthor on live action. Both the tone, the physicality, and the histrionics. But Luthor is a very histrionic character.
Right.
Dude. Dwayne Johnson.
Playing Luthor?
Yeah.
I'd have to sit with that for a moment. I really do. I'd have to really sit with that.
Okay, having watched him in Red Notice, I think it would be a stretch for him, but I think he could do it. Because in Red Notice, have you watched Red Notice, Keith?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So in that one, he's double crossing all the way through.
Yes.
But also having watched him in Black Adam, I think he could do a version of Luthor.
You'd have to, looking the way that he does, that would be a Luthor that you would really, there'd be no doubt that physically he could do something. But it's really about restraint at the right times. You've got to be able to see him you can't just be calculating. You
Mhm.
have to see it play across his face sometimes. You have to
Right.
see him being able to go through different. I mean, it's really about the non-physical stuff with Luthor because
Right.
he is the opposite of Superman in
Right.
every
He
way.
is, yeah. But I could see an adaptation of Luthor who is like the Kingpin, who is capable, just unwilling to get physical. Because if you also look at Clancy Brown's animated version of Luthor, that is not a small guy.
Oh no, he's not a small guy. But that's
You
the
know?
great thing about having someone like Mercy around
Mhm.
or others like Mercy. But
Mhm.
I just, man, you're making this difficult. That's a
Lucy
good thing.
Liu playing Mercy.
I don't know. The age is not right.
Mhm.
I could see Gina Carano playing a version of Mercy.
No, so Gina Carano
Yeah.
is she
How about
is
Ming-Na?
Ming-Na Wen. Okay,
Yeah.
yes, because Carano is too obvious in her physicality. Mercy is the one you never see that sucker punch coming.
Yeah, but Ming-Na, thing about Ming-Na is that she is, look up how old she is, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but doesn't show.
It doesn't show,
Yeah.
but that is still a factor. That is still a Madison Beer.
Okay, hang on, gotta look this up.
I think it's just too skinny. Well, that's fixable. No. Yeah, you buff it up. You put her with the right trainer.
No. She looks too much like Megan Fox, and that is the seductress. Mercy does not strike me as being as looking like someone who could come on who could show up on the CW. You know, just
I could see well, I can see Sydney Sweeney as
I
Silver
didn't
Sa-
want to say it because
No, as a different character. As Silver St. Cloud. She would make a perfect
she is Power Girl. Hands down.
oh my goodness. Dude! Oh my goodness, dude! Martin,
actually,
you are the man, Martin. You are the man. Oh, jeez, dude.
oddly enough, you know who, and I know this is like typecasting, but after seeing her play the Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson
Could be Mercy? Yeah.
could be Mercy.
Yeah.
That'd be too obvious.
It's too obvious. It's too on the nose. But I can't go without. I can't look away from it.
I could see her as Silver St. Cloud. Because having her, to me, being in the Batman 2, it would make, in my opinion, it would be better for her to be Silver St. Cloud. In fact, there's no guarantee that she isn't playing Silver St. Cloud in the Batman 2.
Nah, I'm gonna side with Ben here.
Who's
because Scarlett Johansson. You need an actress that is not too tall, that can do the moves, and that can, from time to time, not command but stop legs just by talking.
And
she has to have some authority on her voice.
And I think Scarlett has that because she's got that low timbre to her voice. I also think of the scene in Civil War with her and Oh God. Hang on. Marvel.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, no one's asking me a question, so
You are
hang
asking the
on.
questions yourself.
Right? Hang on. Okay, cast.
Come on, Ben.
I'm trying to the leader of the of and now I can't even, I had the name in my head and now it's left of the Black Panther security team.
Oh, Okoye?
Okoye, yes, Okoye. The scene between her and Okoye, it's like two different levels of two different, badasses facing each other off. That would be amusing. I mean, any woman any actress who can basically keep RDJ's teeth off of the scenery in any given scene.
Oh. Oh wow. Oh my goodness.
I mean, because she effectively kept Robert Downey Jr. in check in every scene they were in.
Wow. Wow.
That's someone who can stand up to fucking Lex Luthor.
Thinking about it.
Mm-hmm. Are you trying to figure out who to cast Scarlett Johansson as?
Well, I haven't seen her in quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
She is the right age.
Mm-hmm.
So,
come on.
Chloe Grace Moretz.
Oh, as
Mercy?
Mercy.
Okay. Hang on to the internet. I got it. All right, what is she?
She's had the training.
And she has the look. See, she has, this thing is looking at some of her more, she can do that deadpan, I'm going to kill you look. She has had the training, and after seeing her in Kick-Ass, yeah. But yeah, she has the look because there's something about Mercy. I think that she has that. I've always pictured her with that narrowed chin. That triangular look to her face that is, I think she could do Mercy. Yeah, Chloe Grace Moretz could do Mercy. You know who else Chloe Grace Moretz could do a good job as? That's Catwoman.
There's already a Catwoman.
I know, but if we're fan casting,
true. I think Chloe's 5'10". So
okay, this is gonna sound. I don't know how this is gonna sound, but until I see something really, really, really better, my Catwoman is Anne Hathaway. She sold me out, man. When I saw this,
they wrote her well, and Hathaway did a good job.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Hathaway is too soft in too many of her ways.
You're too feminine.
No, not too feminine. Because Catwoman is all woman and very feminine in her ways. But Catwoman is, because you can do femininity with an edge.
Michelle Pfeiffer is what you're saying.
Michelle Pfeiffer is just dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, she could seduce you and still stick the knife in your back, and you'd just be into it. It's like, hey, baby.
Yeah, no, knife, I mean, Michelle Pfeiffer, and I will always go back to this, the dance scene between her and Bruce Wayne, where she is laughing and crying at the same time.
Yeah.
And, and that look of, do we have to start fighting now?
Well,
the
interesting thing about that is that she and Michael Keaton used to date.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually had a history together that they played off of. And that played well in their scenes.
Right.
And Chloe Sevigny?
No.
No?
The age is not correct. Don't get me wrong. I love Chloe.
Right.
But.
Yeah.
I just think that there are a lot of good actresses, and you could probably find someone really good to play Mercy and be able to train them, because the great thing about Scarlett Johansson is that I think the training that she received, you probably could have trained someone else. And I'm not saying that she was not good at it. In fact, she more than fulfilled what she had to do in order to be Black Widow. She still kicks so much butt, and I will always say that she would still be a perfect Silver State Cloud for the Batman. But I think you could find another actress that could do this. There's all kinds of actresses that I would put up. You never. What?
I just watching the timer. We have been at
we're
3 hours.
Oh, jeez. I did not mean to. See, I'm not the only one. It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
Right.
But
it's gone from morning coffee with Keith to afternoon break with Keith.
Yeah.
Well. Wow. Yeah, I know. 3 hours already. Yeah. It's just again, you can understand why Batman is still so popular after all these years. There are so many different ways to go. There are still multitudes of characters that you could, want to bring to life. And again, I will say this, because while the character was just given a small cameo before with the last version of the DCU that they had, I think it would be better for the Batman to go ahead and rely on this character, which is Detective Christmas, because he is the only member of the GCPD who really does not like Batman. He is a character as this thing against Batman, big time. I think you could cast someone like Denzel Washington's son, whose name I forgot, unfortunately, but he would be fantastic as Detective Christmas. Bringing him in to be the guy that's going to try to bring in and bring down the Batman.
Well, Bullock doesn't love Batman either.
No, Bullock doesn't.
Bullock doesn't love Batman, but I get that there's a grudging respect for him.
Yeah.
You know, it's like one of those things of, I want to arrest you, but I know it's not a good idea.
Mainly because he could not. He would be
Right.
beaten.
Yeah. Well, remember, Bullock can handle the average criminal in Gotham, but he's never met a ham sandwich he didn't like. So he knows that.
I like him already.
Bullock knows that half of his collars are because Batman showed up first. And they're unconscious when he handcuffs them. So.
Wow. Wow.
All right.
Oh, jeez. I cannot believe we just. Oh, man.
Well, we're doing what.
Oh, you know who could have been played a good Bullock? Oh, I can't believe I had his name. Brian Dennehy.
Brian Dennehy would have been interesting.
Yeah,
would have been real interesting. Wow.
Guys, we've been at this over 3 hours.
We do have to get
I've got
going.
a writer's group tonight.
Yeah, I gotta.
How about we?
Oh yeah, but no. I wasn't saying Denzel himself. I mean Denzel's son.
Denzel Jr.
Yeah, it's
next week. The whole show should be fan casting.
Okay,
yeah,
we can do a
there
whole
we go.
fan casting.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh God. Okay.
Because it would be too much fun.
All right, so here's the homework for next time for all the fans. Because God knows there's always someone in chat before we get here, and we don't always start on time. Today was cool.
We apologize to our audience by having started on time.
Right? They're going, wait, Darn, it started. What happened? What time is it actually? But so here's what we should do. In the chat next time, throw us the characters you'd like to see fan casted. Just to start, and we'll I know we'll put the thing up there for what it's going to be. So, but yeah, who do you want to see IRL, and we'll see what the fan casting looks like. Does that sound like a good idea?
Yeah, like a really good idea.
Let's get some audience participation on this one.
I think, yeah. Well, this has been a really cool episode.
Mm-hmm.
Just to round out all of this, I know we've been talking a lot of Batman. Let me also put this out there. At the end of March, 27th to the 29th, that weekend in Kansas City, they're going to be having their latest edition of Planet Comic Con. It is very important, if you really consider yourself a Batman fan, to be there, okay? Because this year they've got somebody very special who they've invited. The main man himself, Paul Dini, is going to be there.
Oh,
he very rarely does conventions nowadays. Very, very rarely. I cannot emphasize enough how rarely he is out there, okay? And he won't be with the other guests. I think he's going to be at a very special table that they have in the middle of the dealer's room. But he's going to be there with two other people that are also part of Batman the Animated Series or have a history with it. And I'm telling you this because, it's just us Batman fans here right now. And I know a lot of Batman fans overall seem to agree that Batman the Animated Series really was the best out of all of them. And knowing all of that, I put this out there to you to let you know ahead of time. Get your tickets and get in line now, because I know I will be in line to meet Mr. Paul Dini. And I don't think I've put up all the pictures from last year where I got a chance to meet a few more people connected to Batman the Animated Series. But I'm telling you right now, you do not want to miss this opportunity. Okay? So check them out at planetcomiccon.com or go on Facebook or check them out on Instagram and get your tickets. Get your tickets now because they are quickly running out. I think they are almost out of hotel space. So they're also going to have Mr. William Shatner there.
Oh.
And this man's in his 90s now. Okay, there is no guarantee that after this appearance that he's actually going to make it to come back in a few years, given his age. So if you
he will live forever.
I want to say that he will, but there's no guarantees. So if you've ever wanted to meet William Shatner, now is your chance. Now is your chance. Do it now. And at the same time, piss off all the people that are big fans of K-Trek at the same time. So it's a win-win. But Planet Comic-Con 2026, downtown Kansas City, March 27th to the 29th. Tell them I sent you because, they know me. Seriously, they do. Thank you. Thank you to I want to thank Ben. I want to thank Martin. It's too bad that our good friend Flash Dixon couldn't be here. I know he really wanted to be. I want to thank Gambit the First, Andy Morrow, Country Shake Media, Real Popcorn Geek, The Lovely Anima, Stassis Geek, Monkey Jesus, Cam, Protox 07, The Lovely Penny, the G himself, my brother James, Snortopoopas Keyboard, Black 25, Nothing Witty 7775, and of course, Shinatsky. On behalf of everybody here at the Pop Culture Minefield channel on YouTube, I just want to say thank you for tuning in. And if you get an opportunity, check out any one of the other upcoming shows that we have. I know that there's one. Don't we have one later on today, Martin?
Again?
Don't we have another show coming up later on today?
No.
Oh, this is it. Okay. Well, we got a show coming up on Friday.
It's like, are you kidding? There's not much of the day left. We've eaten up a good chunk of it.
Yes.
I'm not sorry.
No, me either. No regrets. Yeah, no regrets.
Well, for tomorrow, we have at 3 p.m., we're going to discuss Michael Mann's movie Thief.
Good movie.
And is Michael Mann?
Yeah, Michael Mann.
And at night at 8 p.m., we still have our gaming show in which John, Knock, and I were trying to play Baldur's Gate without getting John a coronary.
Good luck. Miss you, John.
And this Saturday, we'll be talking about To Live and Die in LA.
Ooh,
at 3
good
p.m.
one.
Central. Oh, yeah.
Good one. Classic film.
Can't wait for that one.
Oh, with the ending I didn't expect. That was totally surprised.
That freaking twist and how fast it was. You was
Yes.
like, what?
Yes.
Is he still living in LA?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow. I think the music for that was done by Wang Chung. And I think Wang Chung have a new release out this year. That's the other big thing. Wang Chung are kind of sort of back, everybody. So check out that new release. Oh, yeah. See, you hang with me, you learn new things. Come on.
All the time.
Okay. Well, on behalf of Ben, Martin, and myself, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and having fun and keeping everything just really kind of cool and interesting. Thank you, Gib. Yeah. Same Keith time, same Keith channel. Love that. Gonna have to get a t-shirt that says that.
Right? And then, morning coffee with Keith.
Yes.
Come on,
drink
James.
up.
Stop it, James. Save it for the next week. But that is awesome.
Well, I want to just thank everybody for giving up their time. And again, this is very humbling to know that there are people that are still willing to tune in and give of themselves to listen to me ramble on as Ben and Martin try to, hold things together as I go off on my tangents. So again, thank you, and see everybody next week. And remember, in the end, it's all nerddom all the time. Be good to yourselves and each other.
Have a good weekend, man.
Goodbye, everybody.
You too.
Y'all come back now. You hear?
Matt Damon.